All right, this is the Eagle Point Community Development District Board meeting. Today is Thursday, June 4th, 2026, and it is 5 p.m. We will call the meeting to order, and we can start with a roll call of our board members, starting to my right, if you want to state your name for the record.
Rabah, Agabi.
William Hathaway.
All right, I'm Andy Mendenhall, District Manager. We also have
Michelle Reiss, District Counsel.
Robert Dorak, BDI.
All right. As mentioned, Lewis will be joining us shortly, our field service manager from CAI. We also have, it looks like, 5 residents right now. Also, Sheriff's Department is here. Thank you for attending. Welcome. And we'll move on to item number 2, statement from Chairman. I didn't have anything separate from the chair today. So that'll segue us right into supervisor requests and audience comments on specific items on the agenda. So if it's okay with the board, I'll go to the audience first. Just a reminder for anybody that hasn't attended a meeting before, we take all of comments, questions, those sort of things. For this round, it's just based on agenda items. And then we have another comment section at the end of the meeting, which is more free-form, general questions on things you heard tonight, that sort of thing. And if you can keep your comments to 3 minutes, comments or questions, and I'll be the timekeeper here, so I'll just wave my hand when you have like 30 seconds left. And also, if you can just state your name for the record, because these meetings are transcribed, so it's helpful to get folks information so we get it right in the minutes and that sort of thing. So I'll ask if there are any comments or questions specifically related to the agenda items today. And the agenda is over there on that credenza there, if you didn't get a copy. Sorry. Any, from anybody that has looked at the agenda, any questions?
I do.
Sir, go right ahead.
Jim Casey. Originally, when I saw the agenda that was posted on June 2nd, I actually didn't have anything to say or comments to make. Yes, so the new agenda was posted this morning. So I have a couple things I want to talk about regarding on the agenda, the proposed additional gazebos and the information on the flagpoles. So what I would tell you is, the district invested in an elaborate security and access control system requiring residents to use a key card or app to access the pool. Because of the technology, we should be able to determine how many residents actually use the pool, the days and times of the highest usage, how often existing shade areas are at capacity, and how many times per year additional gazebos would actually be needed. I'm not saying that additional shade would not be beneficial. I'm simply asking whether we have the data to show that we're actually solving a problem that exists instead of spending thousands of dollars. Regarding the flagpole, my concern is not with the flagpole itself. My question is whether the proper due diligence has been completed. Where exactly will it be located? Will it impact any nearby homeowners? Has the community been asked whether this is a priority for them? I have personally represented individuals in dealing with flagpole disputes. The issue was never about a flag itself, but it was a constant noise caused by ropes, clips, and hardware during windy conditions. These issues are preventable with proper planning, equipment, and placement. My request is simple. Before approving these expenditures, please use the data available, consider the resident input, evaluate the actual needs, and make sure that the decisions reflect the priorities of our community.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions related to the agenda items? Yes, sir?
Ron Bradford, 8920 Windlass Cove. I noticed in the inspection report, and I keep seeing it every week when I drive by, the front fountain out here, we have a garden hose. It's how we're filling it. We have an automatic system that should be working. It's been broken since December. I think it's time we should address that item.
Okay, thank you. Okay. If there's no other questions, board members, if there's any responses or comments, obviously now's the time, where I know we are addressing some of the issues later in the meeting where we might go into more specifics, but I'll obviously give you that opportunity. Okay.
Louis, did you have the fountain in the agenda, Louis?
Sir?
Did you have the proposal from H2? Is it approved here?
I do, it didn't make it in the agenda.
All right, that's why I asked. So just to answer your question, we did get a proposal
Yeah,
for it. They quoted us $2,600, which is a ripoff. So we're taking our time to find the right vendor to do it correctly. And that's why you said we already have the system there. They want to install a completely new one, which it doesn't work for us.
Okay. All right. Moving into business items, the first item we have is consideration for adoption, Resolution 2026-06, which is approving the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget and setting the public hearing. So, an Exhibit A associated with that is the actual budget. If you had a chance to take a look at it, a couple things of note. So when we put this together, what we basically do is look at really three things. We look at how things are trending in the current year to make sure that we account for anything that was maybe unexpected but has become some sort of a regular expense, those sort of things. These would be increases to contracts, increases to utilities, that sort of thing. We also look at brand new items that might have come up that are going to be ongoing expenses. And then finally, probably the most important step is we look towards you as board members, that if you have anything in mind for the next fiscal year, project-wise, things that you want to get accomplished, of course we want to capture that here. So most of what you see in this particular version of the budget really is including the cost and the trending that we've seen this year. So at least based on that, the budget as it stands right now, it does have an increase built into it. So in 2026, your adopted budget was $751,352 for your assessments. And for next year, at least right now, based on the trending of expenses, we have it budgeted at $841,392, approximately $90,000. Now, again, this is based on what we're seeing trending, and we have, of course, done some projects that are not going to reoccur. Ultimately, as a board, this is your decision, whether there's an increase, no increase, those sort of things. But I like to present you with at least a full picture that you can consider. And what's most important is that what we're trying to accomplish this evening is we're setting the high water mark, which will be sent off to the county. And then between now and the actual approval of the budget after the public hearing, which will occur in August, you're going to have 2 additional meetings to actually discuss, to fine tune, to determine, all these, any projects or anything like that. So I guess my main point is, my recommendation would be that you probably do this evening want to approve a budget that has some built-in dollars for you. And then if you determine that you want to back down from that, we can do that over the next couple months by fine-tuning exactly what you want to accomplish, or even if there's ways that we think we can get savings and that sort of stuff. But I would hate to, because whatever we set tonight, we can't go higher than. So I would hate to come in low and then we realize something a month from now and we don't have the funds for it. So that's my suggestion. As far as what else we can do tonight, I'm happy to talk about any line item you want, or every single line item if you want. I would suggest that we probably don't want to do a deep dive at that level this evening. We want to pick that this is our max level, because number one, we don't have 2 board members here, and it's always good to get the input of all of our board members. And number 2, between now and the adoption, not only are we going to be able to discuss this more, but we're going to get 2 additional months of actuals in your financials. So you're going to have a clearer picture of, number 1, how you're going to end this year, and also if the trending we are seeing now in some line items, if it holds true. So that's my super long-winded way of saying where we are with the budget. Obviously, I'll turn it over to you for some discussion, and one way or the other, we are looking to have, at some point, the board make a motion to approve this resolution, which will set the public hearing. as well as set forth the process of advertising, the process of getting letters out to your residents if there is an increase, and just basically gets the ball rolling for the next couple months.
So, whatever we set today, we cannot go lower, right?
You can go lower.
Go higher.
Yeah.
Go higher.
Correct, yeah. So if you were to approve this as it's presented, or even with a figure higher, yes, you can go lower, you can stay flat, you can go lower than what it was this year, you just can't go higher.
And we still have 2 months, right?
Yeah, so your public hearing will be at your August meeting, that's when it's slated for. So yeah, you have 2 months to, at the July meeting, at the August meeting, we can discuss any revisions, any changes. Really, what I always like to have from your guys' perspective is some sort of, here's the projects that we want to do next year, if there are projects, and then we can kind of prioritize them, and then in a nutshell, you'll get feedback from your residents on what they feel is important, and you take all of that into account, and you can cross things out or move things up. You have those adjustments you can make.
So, a couple projects, I don't know, some of them, they're gonna be tonight actually, which probably we're gonna end up pulling some money from the reserve.
Sure.
Just to get them done, and we can always either budget for them to return them back or just keep it the same way it is. I don't see it.
Sure.
Anything crazy about it, but definitely set the numbers a little bit higher until till August, so if we can change anything. Let's see here.
And if in addition, you always have the option. I'm just putting this out there. I'm not necessarily recommending it because I've kind of given you at least what my recommendation is. But if you decided that we might need more than 90,000, you can go higher. Again, we would just basically anything additional, we would put into miscellaneous contingency, and then we can kind of work with that budget to ultimately to get to where you want to be when you adopt. Just to, sorry to keep going on, but to give you some context, to kind of what this means from, a numbers perspective. You're basically, what you would be looking at would be, as it is right now, roughly an 8% change, a 7 to 8% change to the overall assessment. Obviously, there's a little variation depending on your lot size, but 7 to 8% is where it stands right now. At the high water mark, again, so.
So which vendors do we have that are requesting any kind of increase or raise? I think if I'm not mistaken, the landscapers as having their contract, they have 2%.
I think they have one built in, yes.
That's nothing at all.
Yeah.
Do we hear from anybody else?
We have not heard specifically from anybody else as far as asking for an increase.
Mm-hmm.
We usually don't poke them for an increase because then if they come forth, we can explain to them that you should have brought that up at budget time.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So,
Just making sure.
No increase from our company, so we're flat.
Under the flood control section there, that's a pretty big jump. Going from 30,000 to about 41 on the aquatic, the wetlands monitoring.
This is the ones that monitor the pond, right?
Yeah, so this was the one you all might recall from about 4 months ago. We had, you have a firm that is doing basically mitigation monitoring. So mitigation monitoring, you have a few areas and they come in and they do reporting that's required for the state and for SwiftMud. And there was some question about it because the same company used to do your ponds, and there was some overlap between what they were doing and what your pond maintenance company was doing. We did confirm that there's no overlap anymore, but they still are required or are providing those mitigation maintenance services. And you may recall what I suggested was once we get Robert and his team on board is a good thorough review of those mitigation areas, number one, to see if any of them are near being released where you don't have to monitor it and you save those dollars. And secondarily, if there are any recommended firms that potentially can do it cheaper. It is very expensive. And for whatever reason, I wasn't involved last year with the budget, but it wasn't fully budgeted, which is why we're seeing the increase now
Because I think we were thinking that was going away.
because of the
because
pond
of,
stuff.
you
Yeah.
know, Going to site X.
Yeah, and that's a fair thought, because when I initially looked at it, it was like untangling a cobweb the way that they had it written out with their contract.
But we weren't paying, I think, for 2 vendors last year, like,
No, we weren't. Well, at least not at the point that I got involved and researched it. Prior to me, maybe there was an overlap where you were paying for 2, because when Sitex came in, clearly the other company should have completely dropped off any treatments to the ponds. I'm not sure, I wasn't here at the time, I'm not sure if they did right away or if there was a delay, but I did confirm they're doing nothing with the ponds now, and they haven't been for the time of this year, so.
There was a delay, and then I think they also had done a couple mid-fly treatments that we hadn't contracted them to do.
So,
we did switch over to all the ponds being done by Sitex.
So, and that's, I was going to talk about that as some general pond discussions. We can do that later. Your mid-fly treatments, very expensive. Having done this for 20 years, mid-flies come and go.
yeah, you
And-
cannot control them if possible.
It's difficult to control them, and just a suggestion, we might at some point want to consider dropping the service for a month or 2, see if they're gone, and if they're gone, just kind of, because I've seen that where, the midge-flies get treated, the larvae get treated, and sometimes they just disappear naturally, and as well, they come back naturally.
It's only during the summertime when you see them heavy. Other than that, you don't see them at
Yeah, a
all.
lot of times, and it's a super expensive service.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, we can keep it for the moment the way it is until the other guys show up and we can hear from them.
Yeah, just something to think about.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I mean, at the end of the day, if we are forced to look for a different vendor, maybe we can consider that if their price is too high. What do you think?
Well, so you have Sitex currently doing, the mid-fly treatments, and Sitex seems to be fair with their pricing. There are plenty of, obviously, pond companies out there that we could always look at, and that's, up to you guys as a board, because for something like that, because of the dollar threshold, we can just solicit quotes and just give you an idea, because the thing is, there's really, in my opinion, in Hillsborough County, Manatee, and even Pasco, there's really probably 3 or 4 companies that do an equivalent job. So really what it is it's casting out to those 4 companies, number 1, seeing if there's any opportunity for cost savings, and then you can kind of make those decisions. But it's easy to get they just come in, they know how many ponds, and,
Yeah.
get you a quote.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, if we're gonna do, we just keep the mid-fly treatment during like the heat season. And then the rest, like winter time and stuff, you just
Generally,
cancel it.
it's the summertime.
The summertime, you have like 3-4 months maximum.
Yeah.
On that. I mean, for the moment, just keep it the
Yeah,
way it is.
yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to bring it up only because it stuck out.
Specific timeframe, and then
Yeah.
Makes
That's
sense.
what we're gonna have to do. What else?
Do you know offhand what was dumped in miscellaneous contingency and physical environment contingency? That those are so much higher.
Yeah, so that's a couple things. You have 3 line items that are similar, all in that same section that you're referencing. You've got the capital outlay, you've got miscellaneous contingency, and then you have physical environment. Those, at least as they were set up, and again, we kind of inherited this, it's not a bad thing, but they're set up as catch-alls. So the short answer is yes, we can run a report on everything that's been booked to those line items currently. My guess would be there's some opportunity to reclassify some of those to other line items, or even create certain line items that would be a little bit more intuitive. So going forward, we can track things a little bit more specifically rather than kind of a general bucket. So we can definitely get a list of it, though, that will tell you specifically, okay, out of this, these dollars spent in 2026, here's the 10 invoices, and here's what it was for. Very easy to generate that report.
I mean, that may be an idea, because one of them, we budgeted 15,000, and you're suggesting raising it to 50,000, and then the other one was budgeted for 27,000 also. So one's over 3 times higher, and the other one's almost double higher.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you're right, and that's the whole trending aspect, because in the first one you reference, instead of 15,000, right now we have actuals of 47,000, and then the secondary one, which was budgeted at 17,000, we have actuals of 46,000. So, and those actuals are through March 31st. So actually, it could come in even a little bit higher, because obviously March, we're not at a full year yet. But I really do think that if we get a list of what was booked there, we can reclassify items and we can get more specific going into next year, that instead of having $50,000 in miscellaneous contingency, maybe we find out that there's, $10,000 that really should be in repairs and maintenance, amenity area or something like that. That way it just tracks better.
At the end of the
That
day,
will definitely help.
at the end of the day, there's a couple of things that we don't have to worry about, like the irrigation, it's at 20.
Mhm.
We basically don't have to touch the thing at all. We are doing just the minimum stuff, because it's running perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't hurt to have it there.
Yeah, it just, stuff like that, it'll give you some buffer as well, which helps out, especially when we have a miscellaneous contingency that's going over. It's good to have other line items, the irrigation being in good shape,
So,
be ahead of the game there.
This budget you have here, I'm just kind of confused a little bit. Does it show us the same? Because we, in our, what do we collect during the year, we do have a portion that goes to reserve. Is it separated or?
So, correct, yeah. So what winds up happening is, you have a line item called capital outlay reserve. And so what winds up happening is, during the year, if you have any expenditures, let's just say, you're out of your operational funds,
Yeah.
you can use that line item, and we see some actuals there where we did use some of it. You can use that line item to spend within the year. Say, for example, you had to replace the roof, or whatever the case might be. At the end of the year, whatever dollars from there that are not used, it drops right into the reserve. So on your balance sheet, it'll move from your operating budget to your balance sheet, sits in the bank as your reserves. If you scroll down a few pages, we actually have an Exhibit A, which gives you a summary of your reserve funds. And you basically have an operating reserve as well as some undesignated cash, which basically means cash that's not specifically allocated for your operational budget. So that would be cash that might accumulate over the years, if you underspend your budget and that sort of thing. So if we're looking hypothetically, if you were looking to say, yeah, we really need to build up our reserves, that capital reserve line item is where we would want to either keep the same dollars there, increase the dollars there, really a board decision on how you would want to handle that for the long term. I mean, you guys don't have large reserves right now. You're still a relatively young community.
Yeah.
So, that takes time to build up, but something obviously to think about. And as we go along, probably in the next year, the next 2 years, you could even look into a reserve study that would, give you some ideas about what to do.
That was from a reserve study.
Oh, you had that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Yeah, that's good then.
It's done, and that's why we ended up coming with that number.
Perfect. That makes sense.
What is the legal fee? I've never seen it. What page is it?
Legal fees should be at the top under administrative. So it should be under general administrative. You have professional services, legal services. It's like the
first page?
yes, first page under section 2.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, all of your professional staff and that sort of stuff, they're all listed under section 2 for administrative. And that was one of the things that I did receive an email, when I emailed you all and asked for any suggestions. The chair had suggested, based on our expenses now, that we might want to increase the legal fees.
How much was it for this last year? Is it 20?
So for last year, for 2026, like the year we're in right now, or the previous year?
This year.
Yeah, so the current year that we're in, The actuals through the end of March was $21,067. The adopted was 20. So you're over budget right now. What I had put in there was 35,000 for fiscal year 2027. Your chairman had suggested putting in 50,000 to account for any other expenses.
So the fiscal year is not even done and we already went through the legal.
Correct.
We're gonna have to increase that. How much, you have it 35,000?
Yeah, again, I had it at 35,000. The chair suggested 50,000. And you know, if we increase it now, you always have, again, the opportunity over the next 2 months. You know, if you come in here in August and things have kind of leveled out, you can always say, let's bring it to 35 or whatever case you might want to do.
Let's put it 50 for the moment. What do you think, Peter? What do you guys think?
That's an unpredictable little item.
I mean, technically, the contingencies could actually be somewhere else that is under budget now, we don't know. So, we actually came in, so on this, the original budget for this year
Mm-hmm.
was saying we should have $93,000 excess. And we ended up only having, right now we're projected to only have 31,000.
That's correct, yes.
So
The reserve.
93 happens to also be the exact same number as the contingency. Is that, or excuse me, the reserve?
Yep.
So is that what that is?
It's-
And that we're,
That's exactly what it is. So normally, in an ideal situation, you would want to finish out the year and you didn't have to spend any reserve and it all goes right into your bank account. I will tell you, no district typically does that. You always wind up spending some aspect of it. But yes,
just
you're,
over budget.
yeah, I mean, that's where you're at right now. And that, you know, again, might be the reason to say for next year that, okay, well, you know, we want to account for more dollars in legal or more dollars in, you know, contingency, not necessarily, like you could keep consistent with that capital reserve and look to increase some other line items. But again, I mean, a lot of this is, you know, we can have deeper discussions and try to figure it out. I think we just need to have to really accomplish tonight figuring out what the starting point is for you as far as that high water mark. Like, you know, 7-8%, that's not unusual for districts to work with that and work down from it or even keep it. You know, if we were talking 30%, I'd say don't do 30%. Everybody will be in this room with pitchforks, right? So you have to figure out, well, what's realistic for us to really consider what we need next year? Is it 7 or 8%? Is it 10%? You know, whatever the case might be. And if you say, you know, if you figure that out, then for now, you know, obviously we can increase legal, but we can also just say, hypothetically, if you wanted to get to 10%, say, okay, we'll increase it to 10% and I'm going to put it in contingency and then we're going to clear it out or we're going to reallocate it to legal and whatever else.
I mean, if we're spending a lot of legal, we'll just keep it in legal.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, no, I'm just
What
looking.
he's saying is right now for the high water mark.
Yeah,
Making it there and then once we
can
hash
move
it
it.
all out.
yeah, to reallocate it.
I mean, most of it is movable anyway.
Yeah,
You know,
It
doesn't
is.
matter.
Even once the budget's adopted, you can move it around.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's just like the example of irrigation. You might determine that at the next month, irrigation could be 5,000 less. Take that 5,000, put it in legal. You know, that sort of thing.
One of the things, can you guys look up that reserve study? Because if I recall correctly, obviously the community was already in existence before we started the reserves. So the beginning of the reserves was a higher amount to kickstart the reserves.
Okay.
To see whether, I mean, obviously the first year was recommending 93,000, which is why we did that. But then looking to see what it was suggesting for year 2.
Yep.
To then see, based on the $60,000 shortfall to that, how does that play
Yeah.
into the reserve amount that we should be looking at for this year?
Yeah, it should have exactly that. It should have a schedule that cascades over the years. So I will grab the reserve study, I'll distribute it to everybody, and then obviously that can be a good talking point because if it says year 2 or 3 should be 150,000, we should talk about that, you know, at least.
I don't think it was, if anything, I think the first year and maybe the first 2 years was actually higher.
Yeah.
Because we were playing catch up of the fact that this community's been in existence for several years with the one of the most expensive things we have is this facility and then our roads.
Sure.
Since we're responsible for the roads.
If I'm not mistaken, we did go actually with the lowest thing. If I remember good.
Well, I think one
They
was like
give us-
96 and
They
one was
give
like
us
93.
3 options, and this is the one with the lowest one for the first year, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, it's not a
Okay.
like it's going to be a big deal, but you know, it doesn't hurt to look to it.
Easy enough to take a look. Yeah. That's not a problem.
So yeah, let's bump in the legals to 50 for the moment.
Is everybody good with that?
Anybody?
And just look for a consensus. If
What would be 2 more percent if we were doing a flat 10% for the high mark? So that would be, if we're 244 property right now.
yeah, if you're doing, let me pull it up real quick.
So 9,000, so 2% would be.
Sorry, I'm just scrolling to that page. Yeah, so it's, yeah, correct. So it's 244 right now, 244.49. So 2 more percent. Let's see. That's well, actually, let's look at it another way. Let's look at how much additional dollars it generates as well.
2% and then generates $1,800.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty insignificant, few dollars, basically, to take it to 10, if you took it to 10.
I think we actually did a lot of repairs and upgrades so far this year that normally, one, we didn't budget for, and 2, we shouldn't have some of those same expenses. That's probably what's a lot of this contingency line. So I don't see why we wouldn't be able to get 15,000 in additional legal expenses out of one of those 2.
Yeah, it's fine. We added for this 50 for legal.
Okay. So do you want, just as a thought, do you want me to take, to get it to 50, to take that out of contingency, just shift it around, or are we looking to overall
50
increase?
by itself.
Okay. Is everybody else okay with that?
Yeah.
William, you good with that, or?
I would rather leave the high mark what it is, but I'm only one vote. So.
All right. Well, since we do, I hate to do it this way, but since we have a disagreement, how about a motion to increase it to 50, and we'll just take a vote on it. All right. And do we have a second? All right. Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Can I ask what was the motion?
The motion was to increase the legal line item to 50,000 from 35,000. And I'm sorry, I said all in favor. I heard aye. Anybody in favor? Opposed? All right. So we'll increase that one. That'll bring up the budget just a little bit, slightly. Any other changes you'd like to make now, or is that the only one that we're really considering this evening, based on the fact that we have some increase already built in? If there's nothing else that you want to change tonight, then yeah, ultimately, again, what we're looking for is a motion to approve the resolution that was included in your package, which was 2026-06, which will approve this proposed budget, and it will set the public hearing for August 6, 2026 at 5 p.m. at this location. And so it's the budget as presented with the addition of changing legal services or increasing it to 50,000. If anybody would like to make that motion.
Just to make sure before I make any motion.
Yep.
Already said that 8% increase, right?
Well, it's a depending on your lot, it's a 7 or 8 with.
Should be the same.
What's that?
The debt services is different, so is that what you mean because of?
I was reading the
that factor
overall,
being in
yeah,
it?
I was reading the grand total, correct. The operations and maintenance would be the same. The operations and maintenance is actually higher. It's about a 12%, but when you bring in the debt service, it brings the overall increase to either 7 or 8, depending on the size of the lot. So,
And I'm good with it the way it is. It's a little bit even high, so we can always work our way down later.
Yeah.
Just keep it the way it is.
okay, so would you like to make a motion, or would anybody like to
Motion,
make? Okay. As stated,
Yeah.
got it. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay. So we'll go ahead and get that advertised. We'll work with Michelle as well as far as crafting a letter that goes out to the residents explaining the budget and the proposed rates, as well as the budget public hearing and all of that good information. So, all right. Item 4B is consideration for adoption resolution 2026-07 authorizing bank signatories. So this is a housekeeping item. We had the person who was our treasurer at Kai, she had moved on. So we had another person working there in our financial area. His name is Ken, and you'll note that he is listed on this particular document as the treasurer, authorized to sign. So we're just looking for a motion to approve that so that we can have a signatory on the accounts. All right.
It's not like we have an option.
Yeah, it makes things difficult if you don't. Yeah. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, and the component resolution beyond the signatory is the officer's resolution, which is what would actually name Ken as the treasurer, the acting treasurer. We also have the assistant treasurer, Sonia Valentine. She's the head of our accounting department. As well, we list all officers. Always your option to review your officer structure, but our main objective is to make sure that Ken is the treasurer and then can officially sign. So that resolution is 2026-08, if anybody is interested in adopting that one.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, great. So that'll move us into staff reports. We have a special guest this evening, a district engineer. So Robert, I'll let you introduce yourself, and I know you had a couple items you've been working on, and floor is yours.
Yeah, I don't know, did Stephen come? Stephen showed?
Yes.
Remember the last meeting? Yeah.
Yep.
I saw that. Anyways, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on me. I don't know if he talked about the firm at all, but just to give you real quick before, Andy had forwarded me some issues that you guys were dealing with, and I took a look at in order to discuss tonight's meeting. But my background is in stormwater, drainage, water resources, and I started my career at the Water Management District like 30 plus, long time ago. And I've worked in Southwest Florida my whole career with counties and cities and municipal work. And we started working with CDDs about, we were with another firm, and started working with resident board CDDs about 7, 8, 9 years ago. And then about 3 years ago, left and started doing it ourselves. And I'm a licensed PE, Stephen's a licensed PE. We have a staff of 5. We all have a various different backgrounds, but like I said, mine's in stormwater. So if you have drainage related stuff, I'll be directly involved, ponds and things like that. And then the firm, I mean, we work with about 50 different communities, and we stick it to Southwest Florida. We, probably go as far as Hernando County, as south as far as Northport, and probably west or east as far as Polk County. So everything's kind of compact there. Keep the drives as short as possible. But I think that, like, if there's one thing I think that, from a standpoint of bringing some value to your CDD, we work with, doing every imaginable type of projects, from roadway resurfacing and sidewalk projects and pond bank projects and things like that. And it's really difficult to find, someone to work in that kind of range where it's not a huge project, it's not a new development. You're doing work in an existing community. There's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration when you have people living in your construction areas and things like that. But we work with a really good group of contractors, and so when you have something that comes up, we can get multiple proposals. If you guys know somebody that you want us to send a proposal to, we can include them for competitive pricing. But I'll be honest with you, a lot of contractor pricing is based on how busy they are and how available they are, that kind of thing. Sometimes contractors have specific equipment in their yard that they can fit a job better than another contractor. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. But I think that from a value standpoint, we really encourage you guys when something comes up that you get multiple proposals and not take, the first one or someone that, just one kind of thing. You want to get competitive bids because, like I said, you get pricing that is all over the place. And then the last thing I'd say is, in terms of meetings, every one of our districts has probably got a different approach to meetings. Some want us at every meeting, every workshop period, like the way they work. Other districts will say, well, you only need to come to a meeting if, we have something active going on with you to save money, because you drive here and you sit here and you go home and all that stuff. Sometimes, I know you guys don't do the dial-in, but people will say you can call into meetings to save, your drive time. Whatever you guys want, I am 100% comfortable with. If you want me to drive here and be at every meeting, I will. If you want me to just show up when we've got something urgent going on, I can do that. Or when you relay to Andy that you want me here, I'll be here. Or otherwise, I can provide Andy with an engineer's report, and you guys can look at it at the meeting and go, oh, okay, this is moving along, and that might be fine, and you can save the meeting costs entirely. So we're completely flexible in that regard, or I am in that regard. So however you want to work it, you can think about it. I don't need to know anything right now or tonight even. It's just something to think about. And then the last thing I'll say is, if any of the board members have a problem or you think there's something going on here, just feel free to call me directly. You can go through Andy if you want. In fact, as soon as I got back from vacation, I had emails from Andy, saying, hey, can you take a look at this before the first meeting? I think the board would appreciate an update on a few things. And the same thing goes for you guys. If you got some kind of weird thing going on here, especially if it relates to public safety in any way, give me a call immediately, because that's one of the big things we want to make sure that we address way sooner than later. If you see something that could be a traffic hazard, or you can see a hole or erosion that a lawnmower could flip over in, or anything weird, that you see that you think could be a safety issue, just give me a call. And I'll get out here as fast as I can. But the three things that he forwarded to me was, there was some erosion behind the house on 941 Windlass, which borders up behind the ditch that kind of runs through the canal that runs through the community. We didn't know we had one, but there is one. But she backs up, and her name's Marlene. He sent me that, said there was some erosion, and typically when you get a call about erosion behind a house, it's, you know, the house drainage comes off the roofs, and usually there's some erosion between the houses, you know, and that's what I was expecting to see. But between her house and the canal that I was talking about, there was a raised area behind her house, and I'm guessing that the original developer had this mound in both for, probably put some landscaping on it, but also captured the water off the back of the houses, probably to infiltrate into the ground or something like that. Well, at some point, the water got either high enough on the house side or high enough on the canal side that it probably overtopped this berm, and it's caused this huge gully of erosion right there, right behind her house. And it's pretty significant. It's basically earthwork. There's nothing fancy in terms of the repair, but my recommendation would be to get it repaired. And the one reason is that it's gonna get worse, right? And the canal that goes through the community conveys water, your water as well. And so all this silt and sand that has washed out and eroded is now in the canal, is in the canal. So I would recommend making a repair, and I could get you multiple proposals for the next meeting to look at. I didn't want to spend that time now. I did go out and look at it, and I talked to Marlene and got their background and feedback on it, so that she felt like someone was, you know, being responsive to her. You know, I guess she had been complaining about it for a while, but I didn't want to go any further with it until I got in front of you guys. But my recommendation would be, like I said, it's basically earthwork. We might put some sod down or bahia or something like that to stabilize it, and then scoop out the sediment that we can get out of that's built up right there in that vicinity of the ditch itself. But like I said, I would recommend getting at least 3 proposals to consider for.
Is it something our landscaper can do?
It's possible. I can give them an opportunity to bid on it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it'd be good. Get
Yeah.
one from them at least.
Those guys, I work with them all the
Is
time.
this the canal that runs from Carter into here?
Yeah, and it wraps around here, all the way back around and up around Windlass, all the way around that end over there.
It's
So
pretty
basically-
logical.
So basically, putting like some bahia just don't have to preserve the water. That's all it is. Like in case any rain.
Yeah, the amount of dirt, it's difficult to tell how much dirt would need to be imported in order to fill this in, but it's not little. Like I have a picture of the gully, and it's tough from a perspective to tell exactly how big it is. But it's really, it's not a small section of erosion. You know, that's a pretty big, and there's
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them that are like that.
In that area,
So,
yeah.
It's not even
So
dirt.
it-
It's sand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
sand.
Sand, and you know, clean out, like if there's any organic stuff in there, compact it, and, you know, get it back up to the elevation that it was, you know, on either side and match it up, kind of thing.
Yeah, something we need to look into definitely.
Yeah. Everybody good with that?
Yeah,
Robert,
yeah.
get a few quotes.
So that, your opinion, that's not like a construction defect from the developer, that's just
Well,
bad.
I'm glad you said that, because I think that we need to, like, we're coming into the rainy season, right? And this probably happened last rainy season. And I can't tell, looking at it now with the water level so low, the canal came over the top of that and started the erosion, or it got high enough on the house side that it overtopped and started causing the erosion. But one of the 2 probably happened. So, like, the county keeps a watershed model of all of the drainage systems, and I'm pretty sure that canal is part of a watershed that feeds probably to the east and then further to the south, and then ends up eventually going into Tampa Bay. But I'd like to see what the elevations are that this model predicted, to see how it compares to the grades in that area, because it really is strange. Like I said, I can't tell from what side it got started from, but I'm gonna do a little research with the Manatee County and see, they likely have a lot watershed zone that covers that. I'd be able to at least get some background information and take a look at it.
So the thing is, we cannot fix something if we don't know what's the source of the problem, so.
Yeah, cause then the question is it, cause my thing, so this would be essentially downstream from the issue right here on Moonsail with all the backup of the ponds
Yeah.
regulating.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if it's.
that area wouldn't get any feed, any water, excess water from any of the retention ponds.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
So if the water's never making it there, does that mean if we clean all this out downstream that it could produce more water going in there? And
It's weird because the ditch goes out underneath the road over here, but it also goes underneath the road to the north. It extends further, just to the north, Windlass at the end there. There's another road that runs east-west and it goes underneath there as well.
Buckeye.
Right?
Yeah, and then they're building up a community on the other
Other
side
side.
of us
If
that
they're building it
potentially,
higher.
yeah, and which means it could go
Could
into
go.
that.
Usually when they build a new community, actually it's gonna be higher than the old one, which probably, usually if they plan everything right, you won't have no water issues. But if it's not planned right, you're gonna get all the water, so here.
That's what I'm saying, and, is it possible we could actually end up
So
getting water from them on top of it?
we need to find the source of the issue first before spending any money.
I was gonna say, was it after Milton?
Both of them, Debbie was the one who started it, and Milton finished it off. And actually, you came from both ways and made a Y and went out towards Delaware.
Makes sense. Well, I can tell you Milton was probably close, depending on where you were in the Tampa Bay area, was in the range of 15 to 18 inches of rain in 24 hours, which you'll never ever
Probably see again.
see again.
Yeah.
So we had,
We actually got touched by the eye here, so the eye,
Eye.
part of the eye went over us.
that was crazy
Yeah.
what happened. So if that was where this originated from, the idea that we're gonna have anything like that or remotely close to it ever again in our lifetimes is like almost non-existent. You don't want to ever say there's never a chance, but
No,
that makes more sense
Put
than
the jinx
anything.
So I think it doesn't hurt to have some estimate when it comes to it.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing to do is just to keep an eye on it, especially when the rainy season is coming soon.
Right.
too, and see what we can do about it. I mean,
Yeah.
again, what is the point if the issue won't happen again? Why spend the money, or what's the point to spending the money when we want to know the source of the issue? So
You still have to fix what's,
I was gonna say, can you have a road? An eyesore or a hazard?
actually, I've seen her backyard. At a certain point, something happened, and the preserve used to be a little bit closer, and it gets pushed back, and she was reimbursed, like, something happened between the developer and the county. And that was, this isn't like whatever, there was a piece of wood, that's what the line of the preserve, you know? And she's like, no, like, I'm really sure we used to be closer, here's a 4x4. Yeah, and I'm like, I cannot push it, so something happened, but I think, it doesn't hurt to get us info, and we just.
Yeah, we'll get some proposals and then we can go from there. Yeah.
What's the urgency on getting it fixed? Like, is it because
Well-
the erosion's gonna creep up to her house?
It is gonna get worse. I mean, as you get into the rainy season, it's gonna get worse because all that drainage behind the homes is gonna funnel right there and go out, as opposed to, maybe ponding up and going into the ground. So as the rainy season progresses, that every year, if you did nothing, it would just get wider and bigger, would be my guess, but.
So is it creeping closer to her house? Is that
It doesn't
the
appear to
problem,
be
or is it
getting
affecting
closer.
it
Too
now?
far.
I don't think it's getting closer. Obviously, she's concerned just because something changed and it wasn't like that when when she moved in kind of thing. But I don't think it's gonna get like in the neighborhood of where it's gonna encroach on anyone's lot.
So
We're
what
just
to
worried
happen with the sound harvesting grass in the limits of every single house? It's hard for me to believe it's going to.
Yeah.
It gets close to the houses.
I don't either, I don't think it will.
Yeah.
The other thing Andy forwarded along was there was a question about a section of sidewalk that, a guy was redoing his driveway and someone suspected that he took the sidewalk out, did he not take it out? And so the first thing I did, I had the address, it was 11718 Armada Way. And so from this person's house, all of the sidewalks to on that side of the road down to Reef Bay, right? There's a whole section of sidewalk that extends all the way to Reef Bay. And if you've paid attention in the neighborhood, and you probably all have, you've noticed that pretty much everywhere you go, there's just sidewalk on one side of the road, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's common, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the section of sidewalk up to this person's house, right, all the way from Reef Bay, is not supposed to be there.
All of it.
All of it. The original construction plans show no sidewalk on that side of the road the entire way. So the home builder, at his own
They did it by themselves.
expense, did it by themselves.
Alright, so the problem is here now, there's going to be more maintenance for us down the road, and it could be a liability if something happens to the sidewalks on that side too. We can get it,
So the question of whether that panel needs to be there is not the question. It's not supposed to be there. If the developer or the whoever took it out, because they put it in there by mistake, the one small section that we're talking about. But none of that is supposed to be there. And so you can leave it the way it is now, and
But to a maintenance perspective,
That's what I'm trying to say.
good question for legal. If let's just say a sidewalk in that run cracked, fell apart. I mean, technically the district could just remove it, right? Because it's not supposed to be there, rather than replace or fix or I don't know. I mean,
Oh, so that you mean the rest of the sidewalk that's still there that
is
doesn't
not supposed to be.
actually need to be there?
it's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And like I said, 'cause I know as far as just hinging at a property line like it does currently,
Well,
that's not the only place in the community that does it.
well, wait.
There's another one that it just stops at a homeowner's
But-
property and the rest of them.
Oh, similar
But
thing.
interestingly though, that is at a phase line. So those homes up to that point were built in one phase, and then
Second phase, third phase.
in the next phase. So it just so happens that this break was exactly on a phase line. I got these plans. I'm gonna leave them with you guys, but I mean, you can kind of like see what you just look close on here. You'll be able to see sidewalk on one side, but the area that you're looking at, there is no sidewalk proposed.
So it's only the little section, the two houses, they don't supposed to have a sidewalk, right?
Well, it's a whole run that's not supposed to.
The entire side of the
Yeah.
street going,
This-
going from Reef Bay to Breaker's Lane, there's supposed to be no sidewalk on
Alright, so,
that side of the
I
street.
mean, if this is, again, it's maintenance ways, so if we leave it the way it is, it's gonna be a charge for us.
It would be a cost for us to remove
To
it
remove-
and
to-
then
Yeah, I wouldn't,
replace the side
I don't think
and all that
I wouldn't
stuff, so.
remove it
No.
unless it's causing.
But it
problems.
does bring up
What is
obviously
the-
the sidewalks are
Who's the
cracking
builder?
and
Is
stuff
it
over
Edwin?
time.
He sent
It
the
happens.
email
Well,
from the
in
builder.
Inland is that one, but I think some of the homes on that side of the street some are Syntax and some are David Wheatley, I believe, or Martin, or maybe Miranda, yeah, so, cause I don't know if that neighbor,
I mean,
all the next, from that property, east on Armada, I think that at least the next several homes are inland, but the house before it, I don't know whether that's an inland or Miranda home.
the question is, if the original plan was what he's saying, now what is the chances to ask these builders to fix something they caused?
So we need to know which builder it was, which I assume we could probably find
Well,
out.
we know Inland was
One of them.
at least that person, so they would probably.
And there is a Centex, one Centex house, really.
With different builders?
Could
Yeah,
be.
it's gonna be at least 2 builders. It's gonna be at least Centex and Miranda, or Pulte and
So
Miranda.
you wanna demand the builder to remove the sidewalk?
I mean,
I mean, you
I
can,
mean-
but I don't think they're gonna,
I think that's
don't be a
more of a
tough sell.
headache than, but it does bring the question,
Yeah,
let's say a month down the road, one of those sections of sidewalk breaks, then what? I mean, then now it's a cost on the district for something that shouldn't have been there.
True, yeah.
And
I
you
mean,
don't wanna
have to-
remove one section of sidewalk. Then you would.
Are there trees there? Cause usually when you have sidewalks, you run into a problem with the roots lifting.
Our community, the easement that's from the sidewalk to the street isn't big enough for trees, so there's no, very few areas if any would have a tree. It's,
Yeah. I
it's
would,
just gonna be grass.
I would defer to Robert, but I don't know that there's a lot of ways that you would cause a problem with a sidewalk,
Yeah.
except for trees lifting, cars, road, or construction trucks going over it. I mean, those are things.
Yeah.
In terms of your expense for sidewalks.
You know why those areas are broken?
Based on, the conversation I had with the, contractor, and they said it could just be over time with water intrusion. They didn't see no rooting, but it's, things settle.
I mean, we have, what, $5,500 worth of sidewalk repair around the
Settlement
community
cracks and stuff.
right now.
Yeah.
From nothing,
So-
there was nothing next to it.
Right.
No, I mean, I know, okay, so let's put this, what is there to lose if we reach out to them and ask them to fix something that wasn't there?
We can ask.
Yeah, there's nothing to lose. The worst case scenario,
Yeah,
they're
the
gonna say
worst
no.
case scenario is they're gonna say no.
No, yeah.
Well, the worst case scenario is the homeowner gets
Well, that,
upset
yes.
that you're now removing a sidewalk that, you know, some may be happy about it, some may not. So,
Yeah, I don't
there's
know.
two sides, there's whether the builder will remove it and then whether the homeowner currently wants it gone.
Would it have been permitted if they?
It's, no, I'm just saying it would have been on these plans that got permitted. These are the permitted plans,
And they don't have sidewalks.
and they don't have
When they
sidewalks.
build it, was there anybody that would have
Well,
inspected?
nobody checked it.
I don't know, man. You would like to think that a building inspector would catch that, you know, that there was not supposed to be a sidewalk there, but here's what happens, like, you start building a sidewalk and you keep building the sidewalk and no one ever questions it, and it's
Yeah.
a small part of the overall house cost, so they just kept going, and it got noticed because it ended at this phase line, and then when the next phase came along, they looked close and they go, there's not supposed to be a sidewalk here.
Well, the issue was that house where the phase changes.
Right.
They had a sidewalk on one side of their driveway,
No
not
sidewalk.
on the
Right.
other, and they wanted to, enhance the side of their driveway, which the HOA allowed, but the issue came in that you couldn't cross the sidewalk. So if the sidewalk's there, then it looks weird, one way or the other, however they would have managed to do their house. So that's probably how the conversation came about, and the builder was like, oh, well, we'll just remove it, and, but it's not the only hanging sidewalk in the community.
No, I saw
Do you think the
it.
other ones are the same situation?
I don't think so, because there's one in the Reef Bay cul-de-sac that the sidewalk goes around, and then the last house in the cul-de-sac on one side just ends at their property line.
Yeah.
Now, where it could be the other side, though, the next several homes, which are, I believe, are all Pulte, the water, the backflow, the water meters, all that are still inset as if a sidewalk would have been there, even though there's not. So it's
It's
weird how some of the lots were designed.
I
It
think
might be an easement.
just reach out to those, I don't know, I'm curious to see what they're gonna say. I mean,
You signed off.
Everybody good with that?
Just reach out to them like, hey, it doesn't
I
supposed
mean,
to be
it
here.
doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
And then from there, we just bring up more questions and reaching out to those homeowners, but. I mean,
Okay.
at this
So
point-
wait, are you reaching out to the builders or the homeowners?
I would say the builders first.
That's the owners for what? No.
I mean,
That's what it is. If it's something they're gonna fix, the builder's gonna fix, and it's not there, that's the right thing, so go to the builder. Yeah, and I'm gonna ask it, so somebody's gonna say, yes, I want the other one, what's right is right, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it.
we're gonna keep it, we're gonna keep it for everybody.
We can certainly ask the question.
Yeah.
Find out, see
We've been
what they
going
say.
back and forth with this builders, I feel like forever now.
Yeah, it's
Alright, what else?
we had the the other one was
But
the
other one's not
dead
the
end
signs.
sign.
Yeah. So I drove around and you got like 4 dead end streets, right? And the question was whether or not you could put a no outlet or dead end sign on existing pole.
Yeah.
And you can, provided they're in the right spot and you can make it sure that the sign's at the right height. There's regulations for how high the sign's gotta be. I think the bottom of the sign has to be 6 feet. And then for no outlet, obviously you want it at that intersection of where the street is. So I didn't inventory it or look at that. I was kind of looking at everything, but if the simple question would be, yes, you can use the existing sign. You can use an existing pole, provided that if there's another sign on there, you have to be able to move things around so that the no outlet sign is a minimum of 6 feet from the bottom to the ground. And you have these decorative lamp posts, you know, out here, and it looks like you can move things around if you needed to on them, but if there's not a convenient pole at the street, you probably would have to put in a new pole in order to put a sign there to go along with it, you know.
But as long as we meet the height requirements, things like that, there wouldn't be any issue with putting a sign.
No.
So would it make sense, and I know this is one, maybe just we can get the specific locations and everything. Could you, Robert, would you be able to look and say, yeah, this pole good?
Absolutely.
That sort of thing.
Just do a little assessment of whether
Yeah.
or not you have it.
So
You have it there because, I mean, the cost of a sign is a lot different than the cost of a sign and a pole.
yeah.
The pole adds
That's the most expensive.
the most expensive part, right?
Okay.
So we can do that.
That's the 3 items you had.
That was the 3.
That would be it.
That was the most important one we didn't talk about. The drainage.
Oh, the drainage. Yeah, we didn't.
That's-
Well,
that's-
because I know for that one, Robert's going to need to probably meet on
Yeah,
site
then-
and look at everything.
Whenever we're doing schedule, they probably meet him.
Yeah.
Lewis, he knows him. If I'm not here,
Yeah.
he can meet with Lewis and he's gonna show him exactly what it is. He knows
Yeah,
it.
so that is the 4th item. So we'll have to set up a meeting, Robert, for some of the, we've had some drainage issues, and then we had Steadfasted a project that really they
Do anything?
didn't do it right, and it didn't fix anything, and so,
They did completely something we didn't ask him to do.
Okay.
so.
So get with who?
Either me or Lewis.
Okay, Lewis, all right. For you? Okay.
Yeah.
Either way.
And you want to do like you need to walk around and take a look at things in the field?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm available, I'll be happy to join. But Lewis, I mean, he knows everything. We've been working with Lewis constantly, non-stop.
There you go.
How long? A month and a half now back? Yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
So I trust him with that.
Well, I'll coordinate. I'll get Lewis's contact information from Andy, and then we'll just go from there.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Anything else for
That's all I have.
Robert?
That'll be it.
All right. Well, you're good then.
Good to go?
Good to go. Appreciate you
You
coming.
want me to hang around for the rest of the meeting? That was another thing. Like some boards say, when you're done, you can go. If you're,
I tell you what, this is how we're going to be working here. I'm glad you brought it up again. If we need you for any project or something like that, we're going to contact you. Other than that, you just send the monthly report.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
yeah.
And if an engineering emergency comes up for the rest of the meeting, I'll call you.
There you go.
All right. So let's move into, we have field manager. Obviously, Lewis has a few items on there for the board's consideration and discussion. So I'll kind of give him the floor for those items, and it's all yours.
Yeah, we have the sidewalk repair, obviously throughout the community, there's a lot of sidewalks that are damaged, trip hazards as far as.
Can you send it to me electronically?
On the sidewalk, trip hazards. I met with 2 companies that came out, one did not give me the bid yet, the other company was round up, another one, they got me the bid. The other company said that they would give me one by the end of this week, so if y'all wanna push that off. Yeah, just, maybe get a couple more eyes on it.
Yeah.
doesn't have to wait for the other one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The second is the gazebo, which is the canopies out in the pool deck, which is a big liability and a safety issue. I went out there and I temporarily repaired them. I actually tried to seal them down to the pavers, but the pavers are raising in certain areas. I think they should get replaced, in my opinion, with a solid roof, and better structure as far as liability because of the wind.
My understanding is the gazebos was reported by homeowners. There you go.
And I actually noticed them a couple months back as well, and I spoke to Gary about them. Like I said, I tried to temporarily repair them for, but they're not gonna last too much longer. We have a big storm, you might see them in the pool or somewhere like that. So, if you guys want to take
Since you're talking about that, because we're talking about gazebos here, so, the bids and stuff.
I'm sorry?
You wanna talk about this now?
You wanna,
Since we're talking about gazebos, we just.
you might as well get that one, yeah, that's what.
So, after we saw this, it could be one of the legs actually was hanging for a couple of days. Anybody can get rid about it. I mean, it's very cheap. It's that's literally the cheapest thing you can put up there. That's what it is. And this here so far we have only this is our estimate. This is the pool, the clubhouse. I mean, it looks so. So, I was working with Lewis, and he got an estimate. The first one he got, how much was it, and what was the work?
It was only for 4 units, which is 4 gazebos, and it was like $17,000. He never even got to send me the proposal on that, but that's exactly what he told me. So there was a lot of overhead as far as labor goes. And then based on this new quote here, it's $10K for 9 units. And if we buy the gazebos and have them here, it's obviously cheaper than if some vendor would go out there
because
and mark them up in price.
The first estimate was basically a markup. We were talking me and him, so if we buy our own gazebos, it's going to cost us cheaper. And of course, my favorite guy, I don't have another project for us. He's charging us $10,000 to do the installation. A couple of them. So the one thing we need to dig is the current one where they are right now.
We have that there right now.
Huh?
How many are there now?
4. So we're going to need 16 holes over there, concrete to secure them there. The reason is, he said that we're getting roots like that. There is pavers, dirt. So the pavers are not secured on the side, and the wind with time shakes it. So the only way you can avoid that problem from happening in the future is dig it 12 by 12 and anchor them tight. But the other one, so before we're talking about the other 5. The other 5, he said it should be completely fine to anchor them to the current pavers because it's solid over there. When you look for the price range, so we're coming to, if we go with names and hire him to do the job, it's going to cost us $115,000 for 9 gazebos, compared to the other quote that was $17,000 for 4 gazebos. And here there's different models. There's
So the solid roof, the one that has just a single roof, is a little more withstanding on the wind. I think it's up to like 83 miles, give or take, how they advertise it. And obviously
the other one is aluminum.
Yeah.
I mean, if a hurricane comes, you can put right doors. It's going to rip that thing to beat.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we're
better
done as a
than the
gazebo
other
in a
What
hurricane.
way? So, what do you guys think about this?
Seems kind of high. I mean, I don't know, how much does it actually get used out there? How many people actually need them? I mean, instead of adding more, what about allowing people to bring their own little pop-up tent just to put it out there and then take it home and there's no burden on us?
We have a sign here and call it Coquina Kitchen. Everybody's going to do whatever they want to do.
Everybody already does what they want to do.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, if it's, we maintain it this way, just let it go. Just let it go and it is what it is.
Or you guys can just replace the 4 that's there with some more tops right now, and if you see it look nice and add an extra or something. I
honestly, the community deserves it. We already spent a ton of money in unnecessary things. I don't know if somebody's gonna say this is unnecessary, it's necessary. The pool gets crowded all the time, especially weekends, in summertime. And as a matter of fact, when the first day put this was here, I was all, why did it put only 4? People I want more. I'm cheering for listening to people. So yeah, depends, whatever you guys want. Doesn't, unless someone was in this pool 2 years ago. So I don't really care about what we're gonna do about it. The right thing to do is to maintain it and keep it maintained. And $15,000, if you split it in 400 homes, how much is it gonna cost for a homeowner to contribute to this project? Like, how much?
Yeah, not too much.
How much? To make this
I'll do the math.
400 homes, $1,500?
Seems like that should be easy to figure out.
How much to have,
$30 a home?
to have something nice?
Probably.
The main thing we're having an issue with is the foundation underneath. It's just in the paper, like I said, I tried to seal it and it's not changing.
No, this one, so. just to
Yeah,
make
what did
things
you say?
clear,
You're pretty
it
much
doesn't
right
really-
on target.
This thing here, if we don't go with something different, those whatever we have here, either you don't count down, and you're gonna have to do, those 4 over there, you're gonna have to do them the right way, no matter what. It's a liability.
Yeah, putting those in the concrete
Yeah,
post.
yeah, it's a liability. So those ones you're gonna have to do no matter what.
Yeah, and the fabric has tears in them already, so I imagine another storm, they're definitely gonna be replaced.
See, the only reason I'm saying, I wish he gave you the estimate.
Yeah, he never even said he had an
I wish he'd give it to you, though, you're gonna see exactly what it is. We're talking about 17,000 for 4. And we're talking nine of them for 15,000, which nobody's gonna tell me it's not an upgrade, it won't make the community look nice. Not the community, the pool looks nice. So. Alright, we're not spending more money here, what are we gonna do?
I don't know, I think, if you're gonna do this, why don't you start with, the existing ones first?
See, if you do, wait a minute, take the only 4.
Just this section here, wherever these things are here, and replace those. And let's see how that works out. And then if you wanna proceed next year,
See, that's the only problem we're running with this. As a matter of fact, we could go, the prices were low, keep going up, running out of stuff. It's not that, the thing is you cannot have a gazebo this looks this way, and next year you're gonna have a gazebo that looks different.
you probably should get, you can get some one.
There's nothing bullshit about it, nothing
I kind of agree with you, Martin, that if the 4 out there are a risk, and those ones, you know, the ground is the issue, and it's just those ones that the ground is the issue, then let's, you know, look at fixing those, and then see how that works, see what the homeowners like it. I mean, you're talking, these are sitting out in the sun, you know, the setup's a little different, I don't know how much hotter they're gonna get to the touch of people touching these compared to these poles that are mainly covered up. I mean, I know I've had one of these metal ones in my backyard before, and they get pretty hot to the touch. But
They're trying to say there's aluminum ones that don't got it.
those poles have the stuff draped around them most of the time. So,
Yeah, there is, wrap it around.
so, I mean, if the 4 out there are a safety risk, then, you know, then we fix the safety risk and go from there. And see whether whether the improvement changes, because like you said, you know, those are the only 4 that you're gonna have to drill or not dig and pour concrete for. The other ones will go on to the flooring that was already there. So it should be less, you could get any less than.
I can check with him. And see what happens. If it's only 4, yeah, why not? Other than that, again, you guys do whatever you want. I can care less about the specific one.
So if we did the 4, we'd have to get an update from, as
Yeah,
far
we'll
as
have to-
proposal.
okay,
So if we had to get an update, we could queue it up for the next meeting, and then you could still discuss whether it made sense for 4 or for 9, you know. because we basically readdress it, we'd need to wait for the info anyway.
So you need to table it for the moment?
Just a suggestion, I mean, only because, again, if you're gonna have to get an updated proposal for 4, then hypothetically, if getting 4 is only a couple $1,000s cheaper, you guys might wanna rediscuss that, oh, it's only gonna cost
That's
X
exactly
more.
what, I know it's headed toward that direction, exactly, now that save $2 to have only 4 instead of having 9.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll table it.
yeah, it'll give you another opportunity to kind of look at it, and you'll have your other board members as well to weigh in.
Table it.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Is there maybe a way to, send an email blast out to see how many homeowners are interested in increasing the number of gazebos or anything like that?
So-
Taking time to look at stuff since, if we're tabling this for a month anyway.
Like a survey or something?
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is sure. I mean, we have an email blast. The only thing that I ever, because we have this sort of question come up all the time, the only thing I ever caution is that, like, we're not professional survey writing companies, and it's very tough to write an unbiased question, because here's the thing, I can send out a thing saying, hey, we're looking into gazebos, or the board is, and what are your thoughts on it? But then there's a lot of questions that come along with that. How much will it cost? How big will they be? How long are they going to last? So yes, you could. I just don't know.
I would say just the generic of, the board's considering increasing the number of gazebos. It's currently 4. Are you interested in increasing it to up to 9? Yes or no?
If the board,
Yeah, you'll get all other kind of feedback, but you're gonna get that anyway. So some people may start just from us talking about it in the meeting.
Sure,
Start
sure.
asking questions, so.
well,
Just something generic of, hey,
I'll definitely, I defer to the board. If you want us to send something out, we could.
I don't see any reason to increase it. There's umbrellas and everything at the other tables and chairs, especially what are we gonna do with the tables and chairs? Because most of the gazebos all have chase lounges and a small little table, so we're gonna then turn around and buy more furniture, and then what are we gonna do with the existing tables and chairs?
You don't know what's on the other side. You have a who's empty this. Just say, again, it's not like I care, but I'm just saying, you know what, I don't know, we're just spending a lot of time talking about this, and it's a table. That's it.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're wasting our time here.
Do you want, how about, as far as any e-blast, that we wait till we figure out what the board wants to do first? Would that make sense, or? I defer to you guys as a group.
They gonna email you back?
That's really the only way we'd be able to accomplish that.
I don't care.
Let's see what the proposal brings back, and then, let's revisit this the next session when we have more people.
Okay, fair enough.
I think the fairest thing.
All right. So, flags and mulch, right?
Okay, I'll go with the playground first on that one. Obviously, there's no fall protection in the playground, which is a liability on the district. No fall protection. And it takes a special, obviously a special mulch, which is EWF, which is engineered wood fiber. I reached out to 2 companies. One company came back around $8,000 something, which I thought was extremely high. So I reached out to the company that I dealt with for years ago, which is iMulch, which is known around, and they came back at $41.40 with its 90 yards.
I reached out to Mendenhall landscaping, and they came up with 38, but it was like, how much was it? It was less quantity.
Yeah, you did like 30 something.
30, yeah. So,
More money.
and that's another thing that we have to do. Kid goes from head over there, it's gonna be a problem.
What's the recommended depth of this stuff?
9 to 12 inches based on what I measured up there. We don't have a big playground, but you want at least 9 inches.
I know there's a drain in there,
Yeah.
and it was supposed to, or the drains were supposed to have some type of meshing put on years ago. So, is that, I guess, where are we losing the mulch to? Because we have a wall around it, the mulch in general isn't generally gonna blow away.
there for a reason. The time, it's mulch, it's not plastic. If you don't spend money on plastic, it's gonna cost you more money, you won't have to worry about that thing at all. But if it's normal mulch, it's just like your normal mulch, with the time it's gonna start chipping and losing its shape.
Yeah,
And it's gonna get smaller and go for the drink.
it's a special mulch, so it's
Oh, I
like something, you know, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
gotta be,
mulch
it can't
is-
even be the rubber mulch,
Yeah.
like that.
But we can have them double check as well on the mesh to make sure that big pieces aren't going through. And this isn't, it's not uncommon every few
Yeah.
years to see the replacement because it does break down, it does
That's
kind of
right.
walk away with the kids, whether they're picking it up, putting it in their pocket or kicking it around, unfortunately.
The reason we brought it up because it's literally, there's bare area like empty.
Yep.
Unless you get hurt, yes. I
Are
mean,
we-
I'm not a big fan of that playground to be.
Are we at an average of below 9 inches?
Well, then you can already see the bottom of the.
Well, but the thing is it piles up in some areas, it's low in some, so.
That's where the 9 to 12 inches come, because some areas are only gonna get about 9 because they already have some, but they quoted me on 12 inches, so they're basically.
How high is that wall surrounding?
Based on what I measured, if I'm not mistaken, I think it is about 9 to 12, 9 to 10 inches in there.
Or right at the top?
Yeah.
Well,
Which,
problem is it slopes.
there it goes.
Okay. So the high, so yeah, by the edge, the ground is.
It's gonna be pitched
Yeah,
towards the drain.
But yeah, I mean, it is, cause yeah, the county can come and find us for not having it within proper depth, so.
So if anybody's interested, we're just looking for a motion to,
I'll motion to do it because we have to do it.
you do have to do it, yeah.
I mean, 'cause I was gonna bring up the same thing, I know in the past I've seen landscape companies actually do
I
that.
went up to,
So if you reached
for
out.
the
and
price,
it's not, it's,
talking about how much, $500 different than we get in more? Okay,
yeah,
more.
a third, or no,
How much of the
this is
41?
this is 90 for a rate of 46, but it's 90 yards, so.
Yeah, the landscapers, they give us 38 for 40.
Right, they're bringing a truck, but that's gonna be blown in, so they usually
It's
bring
gonna be
a truck.
dry, yeah.
So do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second, we're talking about pine mulch.
Yeah. Yep, I mulch for 4140. All right, any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries.
Okay, now we're down with the flagpole. Okay, so this, for the flagpole, I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but it's gonna be where basically the palm tree got removed up in the front here. It's a 30, if I'm not mistaken, 30 foot. The only thing when I speak to these vendors is they recommend, the lighting to be already hardwired in, that those lights do not last, but they can sell you a light. So maybe electrician probably needs to be involved as far as running some lighting there, so to light up. I noticed someone out here said something about noise. They do offer some with the rubber coating around them, because that's basically that bounces is basically the metal knuckle that is against the pole, so I can definitely look into that if that's.
I mean, even that's still far from the house, it's gonna be right in front of the Madison Center.
Where are you putting the pole, the flagpole?
See where this palm tree is right outside the door, or window, it's gonna be down just a little bit, it's replacing one of the two.
Yeah, every one of these houses on the perimeter will be affected if there's noise from that flagpole. Every one of them, believe me.
They do sell like a
I've looked into those.
I would look into the rubber coating thing, so the plastic coating items.
Yeah.
I can definitely look at that.
It shouldn't be too much.
So why are some of these quotes charging a sales tax and some are not?
They just didn't remove it, but we can remove that, so he just minus that part of it. We just have to give him the tax exempt.
A lot of.
So one's $300 in tax, one's like $27 in tax, and one's no tax, so.
Yeah, we always double check as we get the invoices in if we receive one with tax to give them the tax exempt form and have them take it off.
Alright, so what are we doing, tabling it now?
He's got to look into that one piece for the, pulleys and whatever else.
I mean, just so you guys know, we don't have to have a flag either, so, I don't know. But I said.
Yeah, I like the idea of a flag.
Yeah, having a palm tree over there that's gonna cost the same amount of money, we don't know for how long it's gonna last.
Palm trees die.
Yeah, flag will never
Yeah,
die.
flagpoles do
Well,
last
yeah.
longer, yeah. That's true.
We don't have a flag out there now?
No.
Actually,
Yeah,
there are.
There's one on the.
Yeah, we're gonna do,
Right on the building.
we are gonna do, that's a small flag, we want a nice flag. That's what we want. So what are we gonna do,
Who's we?
do you wanna, do you want, please, I'm talking, don't cut me when I
I
talk,
wasn't
please,
talking.
no, I'm talking,
Wasn't talking.
don't stop.
Alright.
So what it is when you guys wanna go moving forward with it and extend some extra money to, I'm assuming the rubber will not cost a lot, right?
Yeah, pretty sure.
The same.
It basically just goes over the metal,
Yeah,
hook.
okay.
Yeah, and if worst case, if they say they can't provide it, we can
Just,
do
yeah,
something there.
yeah. So what do you guys wanna do?
Pretty good chunk of change when we're already running in the negative apparently for this year, so I don't know if this is something we should look at for next year or closer towards the end of the year to see where we're actually at money wise. But, I mean, according to
As they said,
the budget, I mean, we already ate up 60,000 of the 90,000 that was supposed to go into our reserves.
Yeah, but I see what you're talking about, but what did you spend on?
So some of it we done back because there's line items that it just says
Exactly.
miscellaneous, and
We-
some of it's gonna be repairing the landscaping and things like that we went above and beyond on this year.
We didn't have to spend a lot of money, a lot of things, unnecessary spending, and we did spend it.
So, $5,000, who's like gonna make a difference? Martin, what do you think?
I like the idea of flagpole, just a little reluctant in terms of timing.
That was what?
Timing, end of the year.
Okay, well, do we have a motion to?
You wanna table till the next time, so we can get input from the rest of the crew?
If you guys wanna do that, yeah, I'm good with it. Table it.
Okay, fair enough. Anything else, Lewis?
That's it for me.
Okay. Item 5C is the attorney's report. Michelle, go ahead, and if you have anything this
I don't have
evening.
any issues for this month. We didn't, no.
Okay, fantastic.
You didn't hear from Hathaway's lawyer
Briefly,
about?
they're requesting a download of a report from Microsoft.
That was from last month. Still the same one?
I think it started last
It
month.
started,
yeah.
yeah, and the district is required to provide access to the records of the district, but we're not required to create documents and reports that aren't normally created and maintained by the district. And this was one that's not something that the district uses, or I'm not even familiar with what it is. To be honest with you, I've never heard of it, but it's not something the district has. So we let them know that that's not a report that's maintained by the district.
Okay.
So I haven't heard anything other than that on it.
Okay.
All right.
The report for what?
It's a tech issue that maybe Andy can explain
Well,
better. But they wanted us
I'm
to-
not much better explaining the technical aspect,
An
but
audit?
as I understand it, Microsoft products, you can generate a report that will give kind of the metadata of the different Microsoft applications, whether it be Outlook or Excel. So it generates a report. Let's just say you had a user that was using Microsoft products. You can generate data that would show tags and stuff like that. So it's a functional report of the software. It's not something that as a district is necessarily maintained. Like we don't keep
And this is requested by
An owner through their attorney. And I will tell you, like, from a legal perspective, when people request documents or records, whether it's in a lawsuit or elsewhere, currently usually provide them in their native format particularly if they're requested that way. And so that way the owner or the requester can get metadata, and that's fine, we can do that. But that's different from saying we're going to go into a application like Word or PowerPoint or something like that, download this audit that's not something that's used by the district and provide that. That's an extra activity it's just not a report that's maintained by the district. So it's like you can have all kinds of information. If somebody says, well, give me a list of every owner that called about a certain issue, that would require you, even though you have that information, would require you to compile it into a report that's not something that you normally maintain, and the district's not required to do that. Now you would, if they said, give me all of the records of the calls and you have those, well then you would hand those over, but you don't have to create a report. That's not something you normally create or do.
So
Does that make sense?
in this instance, what do we do? I mean, are we required to do what they're asking for in terms of this software?
No, you're not required to generate that report.
Okay. Item 6 is the manager's report. We covered most of my items through the other areas of the agenda, but the one item I did have was, for you as a board, was consideration of the responses from homeowners related to district damage. So just as a brief summary, at the last meeting, the board discussed and directed us to reach out to the two homeowners, the residences where there was some damage incurred at the district. About $1,700 was the estimate, and to let them know that the district was seeking reimbursement. We had responses from each of the homeowners, which I forwarded on to the board. One of the responses was essentially that they felt that they were being falsely accused and that there wasn't evidence, that sort of thing. And so they were not interested in reimbursing the district. And then the second response, the gentleman, which I forwarded on as well, the gentleman understood and, for lack of better words, took responsibility for his child's actions, but did not feel that the cost was something that was correct or appropriate. I don't know how you would want to word it. The additional detail that I did forward on to the board, the first gentleman who mentioned that he was falsely accused. We did have a photo of the vehicle that's from the video footage in his driveway. So I did provide that to you. I provided that this afternoon. I'm not sure if everybody saw that, but it very, very clearly is the same vehicle because there's some distinctive things about the vehicle and the decorations on it. And it is parked in his driveway because you can see his address in the photo. So I just wanted to provide that as additional context. And so we are at a point where you as a board, a partial board right now, can decide where you want to go from here as far as either pursuit, adjustments, anything like that. So I just wanted to kind of present all the info and give you guys the opportunity to discuss.
Is it 3 of them? 3 different homes?
Two homes. So you had basically one individual who was riding a dirt bike, for lack of better words, and one individual that was driving an ATV.
I mean, to be honest, can we file a police report against them for damaging the property? Then, instead of going back and forth with him, falsely accusing, we have everything. We give him a chance, and he refuses to work with us, so we'll just file a police report, and then if we have to take legal actions, that's what we have to do.
Did you respond to your request?
That photograph, the photo you sent today, has that been?
Was it sent to him?
It has not been sent to him at this point. I wanted to talk to you as a board first to provide you with the information, basically because the next step would be, potentially responding to him and saying, look, here's a picture. that sort of thing. I'm happy to do that if that's kind of the next step that you want me to take.
Yeah, but after that,
I mean, you have to show them.
the photo proves, yeah.
Sure. Well, and originally
Downside to that?
with the original letter, there was a photo of, a very clear photo of the vehicle and that sort of stuff.
And he
So,
said it's not his.
But
Correct.
he denied that it was his vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah. yeah, this would only be just connecting, well, here's the vehicle in your driveway. So again, there's no downside to that. I mean, there's no,
I mean, let me see the picture.
But what after that? You keep the 9.
It was, what, $1,700 for the shell?
Mhm.
Plus the
The
shell?
irrigation was $400.
Was it per person or total?
that was the total. So the thought would be it would be split, basically,
Yeah.
as I understand it.
And you have one that said, I will pay, I think that's a little high.
Correct.
And we have
Yes.
one denier. I mean, I think,
I mean, the one who I appreciate that just the fact is he took responsibility. So though we completely drop him from we have this one now. Let's keep the 9 and we have all evidence it's him. It's his son or whatever it is lives with him. So he can deny as much as you want, but
I mean, damaging property, no, okay, so can we file a police report and then maybe take legal action down the road too, perhaps? If we continue letting this happen, everybody can do whatever they want.
No, you don't want that.
Yes.
Let's see where he comes from with the photograph, and then,
So do we want this guy to send him a photograph and tell him that if you're not taking responsibility, we are going to file a police report and maybe take legal actions? So we would straight cut and clear with him?
what would the police report do for us?
It's damaging property.
Well, it documents it. Yeah. I mean, even if, ultimately.
I wouldn't say it's an intimidation factor, but it lets them know that you mean business, that you it helps.
What?
We'll see what I heard.
what if we do this? What about, we send letters to both of the owners who are responsible and tell them, someone in your household caused damage to district property. The one where we have a photo will include the photo and say that the cost to repair the damage was whatever X dollars. It was your child and another child, your portion of this expense is half of whatever the total is. If you fail to pay this within 30 days, your access to the facilities will be suspended and the district may consider filing a police report for vandalism of district property.
that sounds good to me.
I think that's that's probably good. I guess the
One
only
of the only concerns I have is you're charging these two homeowners for full replacement of all that shell, and we're trying to say that two electronic devices caused all the damage to that people have the ability to pull into, drive into. We're trying to say that they caused 100% of the damage and the wear and tear of an area since the last time we built it, which was 2 or 3 years.
Okay, so if whatever you say, again, prove it to us that it wasn't like that too.
That's our job. Prove it to
And
them.
then you prove it to us.
Well,
Please stop cutting us, please. This is the second time. Please stop cutting us. I'm
So-
not going
Guys-
part of this
so-
conversation.
Guys-
Stop cutting us.
so the discussions with the board. Let's keep it at the board for now.
you can only assess them for the actual cost, the actual damage that they caused. And if you can't assess that amount, then it would be difficult to charge them. I would not overcharge them.
No.
I mean, I would think of, if there's some wear and tear and over time and they're only, partially responsible for,
As a matter of fact, the 17 you're talking about, it's not the full amount. It was 17 for the shells, 400 for the irrigation, and another couple $100 for the mulch. That's after that we ended up finding that 2 trees are dead because of irrigation too. So yes, they did cause the damage.
So just looking for a motion from the board, and then we can get into some More discussion?
Motion for what?
Exactly what you would like me to do. If you want me to send a
What's-
follow-up letter as
Yeah,
suggested?
what she said is fair.
Okay, so we'll take that as the motion. Do we have a second to that? Seconded. Now, we've had a lot of discussion. Is there any additional discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor? Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. All right.
Are you sending the letter, Andy? Did I understand that correctly? You're gonna send the letter? Or am
I
sending
can.
it?
I mean, it's,
You can do it.
yeah. My
I
letter's,
was just wanting to clarify.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
sure how that,
Uh,
and what is the amount that's going in the letter?
the split between the 1,700 divided by 2,
1,700 divided by 2.
or whatever the official figure is, 1,700 and something. So,
There's more than that.
gotcha. Okay. Next item is item 7, the consent agenda. There's 2 items on there. One is the approval of the previous meeting minutes from May 7th. The second one is ratification of U.S. Lawns palm stump grinding proposal at the clubhouse entrance. That was for $520. So looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have one question.
Sure thing.
I believe on the minutes, I think it's on number 4,
Okay.
8235 Avalon Loop. I believe I said nay on that one.
Okay. We can double check and fix that. That's not a problem. No problem. Okay. If there's no, oh, actually, we need a second. If anybody would like to second that. All right, seconded. So, looking to approve the consent agenda with the modification mentioned. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is item 8, which is the supervisor requests and general audience comments. If it's okay with the board, we can go to the audience comments first. Same rules as earlier. If you have a question, if you want to address the board, we'll take all the comments. 3 minutes, if you can state your name for the record, and then we'll go ahead and go around the room here. Questions? We'll start with the front.
My name is Donna Buckles. I'm at 8338 Avalon Loop, and I was told to come here today. And maybe I was wrong. I was able for someone in your company to show up today because I missed the last meeting because I didn't get the letter about
Okay.
the 2, lack of a better word, hooligans who were messing around in yeah, I got a violation notice.
Okay. So you were on the.
Here last week, but she told me to come to this meeting.
Okay.
Somebody from the organization said to come.
That could be. I'm trying to remember. We had several that were listed on the last agenda. No problem.
Yeah, I didn't get the letter till like May 14th, so I didn't know I was supposed to be here in May.
Okay. So what was your property address? I'm sorry.
8338 Avalon Loop.
Okay.
Well, they were misbehaving. They was in my 9-year-old grandson and my 16-year-old daughter, and they were messing around with the pool stuff, and my grandson kicked some of the pieces, and I don't know if there's any damage. I didn't get a bill or anything, so I didn't ask about that.
Probably because they weren't underage. Is that what it is? The violation for?
Well, this,
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if you have it, it was exhibit 2 in the last board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the first violation that we covered, 8338 Avalon.
yeah, I didn't know if you voted on it already because I wasn't here.
Yeah. So what would have happened if you weren't here? They would have kept the suspension in place. So this is one just as you mentioned. It's misuse of equipment and unauthorized access, unsupervised minors. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. That's what it was. Certainly the board can
Could we
choose
roll
to
back
it.
to it now? Since she's here now?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, she's here, she just waive the thing and make sure, to correct the things in future.
Yeah, I probably went to my car and I think I went to the bathroom
Okay.
I was in over my head, they were wild. I was tired. They said you were in the pool for 3 hours, so I'm sorry about that.
Okay, so is that a motion to reinstate?
Yes.
All right, and do we have a second? Any additional discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you for coming.
And your daughter is old enough, 16.
Yeah.
But I don't think a 16-year-old can supervise.
As a supervisor,
anybody
no, I
with
don't think so.
a child.
Yeah, correct.
She can be up.
No worries, it's
All
fine.
right. Well, thank you for staying through the meeting.
It's fine. No worries.
Not a problem.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay. Other audience comments? Okay,
No, you're going to.
we'll go into Z. Yes, sir.
Dave Newman, this is an issue that's been going on for like a year now, that kind of went through last rain season, and we didn't report until, I'll say fourth quarter of 2025, and there's been more emails and phone calls and reporting on the website, but basically behind our house is that there's large areas of like missing grass. So what it is, but we don't get any response or anything. So we don't know what's going on.
Who did you send it to?
So,
Sorry?
Who did you send it to?
The email was sent months ago,
Yeah.
2 months ago, photos and reporting was posted to the website.
correct. So I don't know if you didn't, well, actually, I want to do this the right way. So what we usually do is we take all the comments. That way we don't give one person 20 minutes and one person 5 minutes. So I want to give you a chance to speak uninterrupted, and then, we'll move on. And then at the end, we'll come back and I'll speak to
You have
that.
something else?
I would just say that now there's like some minor drainage happening on the property as well. So I think that some of the water is like flowing down the hill, like on our property, because there's no grass there to basically help absorb it. But I'm not an expert in that area, so I don't know.
Dave, what was your address again?
8318 Avalon Loop.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Anything else,
No, sir.
sir?
Hey, over the last couple of years, more so in the last months, I've attended almost every one of these meetings. And I've provided numerous suggestions and recommendations to this board. Interesting enough, I cannot recall a single time where any of my suggestions, or many of them, have ever been implemented, acted upon, or even discussed by this board during a public hearing. Residents who take time to attend these meetings, review agendas, and provide input are doing so because we care. At some point, I would encourage this board to genuinely listen to your constituents and consider our input before decisions are made. Today, before this meeting, I talked about the gazebos. I asked you, I said, how many residents are used this for? The days and the time of highest use, how often are the shaded areas are at capacity? How many times per year do additional gazebos would actually be needed? Not one of you, with the exception of William, said how many times do people use it for, said that. What you're doing is you're making decisions without selling it to the residents first. So it sounds like these are personal things that you want to make you feel good about the
Are you
community.
talking to me?
I'm talking.
Oh,
let's-
I'm
let's-
talking to
yeah.
you. Most of it goes to you,
Keep
Robert.
going, yeah, keep
Because
going.
you don't listen to anything.
Keep going.
So, Martin, you said you want input from the crew. You can look at me, Martin, when I'm talking, okay? I'm human. No, you can look at me. You want input from the crew. This is who you need input from, the community, the constituents, not the crew. Because you guys act like this is your personal piggy bank about putting a flagpole up, about putting more gazebos up with the friends using as contractors.
and you don't get any input from the residents.
Where any
This
decisions
is
are
what
made.
makes.
Let's
with
board
my
hold our
thought,
comments.
This is what makes the issue with the residents, because there's no transparency. You're doing what you want, you're $63,000 over budget, you're talking about spending more than $25,000, we got virtually no money. The rates for the repairs are going up 12%, the 7 to 8%, 12% is going up. If you look since 2023,
About 30 seconds.
2023, 90% increase in the rates for the common area maintenance, 90%. And you keep spending money and you don't
Is it up?
justify it to the community. So start listening to us. Start listening to us.
I'm not here to tell us what to do.
Okay.
I do
Let's
it.
let the audience
All
go.
right, we good?
Yep. Are you good,
You
Jim?
work for us, we don't work for you.
Nope.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Nope. All right, anyway.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. Sir, anything tonight?
Bradford, 8941 Cove. I will also go on this flagpole. Yes, the flagpole be nice, yes. But we're over budget already. Why are we spending money on unnecessary things? You know, we want to, yes, do we want nice trees? Do we want nice community? Yes. But you're, like you said, there's a 7%, you said 12, but 7%. You're asking for us already to contribute next year. You're already $60,000 in the hole. It's time to start tightening it up. That's my take.
Okay, thank you. Sir? Okay. All right, so Dave, to answer your question, so I did have an email from you on the 14th of April, and then I responded to that one, and I responded on the 8th of May as well. I'm not sure if you didn't receive it. And we reached out to the landscapers. That particular area is unirrigated, and that's why during the dry season it dies off. And then in most communities that have that situation, it's expected, because it's unirrigated, that it dies off. It is Bahia grass, and so it fills back in it should fill back in as we get to the rainy season.
It's been over a year, it's looked the same.
So Bahia grass, during the winter, Bahia grass, it goes to dormant, it don't grow. This is the time it grows. Because it
It was like
dries.
this a year ago, though, sir. And I guess I would take exception to what you're saying, because if you look in the background, up and down this whole common area,
Yeah.
because this backs up to Carter. So all this area back here, it's a nice thick lawn. So the whole area is irrigated except for the area behind this house. And the same thing in the other direction, going the other way. All in the distance, it's a nice thick grass all the way down the entire easement.
Yeah.
Except for the area behind this house.
So we can, I'm only going on the information that our landscaper gave me, that it's an unirrigated area. I can certainly point that out specifically, that you've seen the irrigation running on those other areas.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that there's a nice thick lawn.
Oh, I understand that.
Up and down the
Yeah.
elevation.
I appreciate that clarification. I thought you were saying that it is irrigated in those other areas. I'm sorry.
One of
I don't know what's irrigated back there.
Gotcha.
No, it's not. It's the bushes that have drip lines, so that's
I was
what it
gonna say, the hedge that's against the fence.
Yes, sir.
The wall of that will have a drip line.
Yes, I
And
see
yes,
that.
at that angle, there is potential for that water to trickle down to feed that grass volume. So, but it's not specific, none of that is specifically irrigated, for the grass, just the hedge along the wall. So, and all of that should be hay, because it's not specifically irrigated, but there still is a question why you have a dead patch that stays there.
Well, it's a more than a patch, it's a huge section of it back there. I mean, again, it's been like that for over a year.
Okay.
The only thing we can do about that, two options that we can, usually during the rain season, it comes back. If it comes back, it doesn't come back, we can reseed that section down the road. That's all
Okay.
we can do.
Is seeding gonna satisfy when it's on a bank like that? Wouldn't you have to resod it, basically?
Well, you can't really resod an unirrigated area because that'll,
They do it on the side of the road all the time.
That's irrigated.
yeah.
On the side of the road?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about for this, I'm talking about like in general, like on outside this
If you go, for example, if you go along highways, you'll often see that it's Bahia there because it's unirrigated. If you're within a community or between communities along popular common roads, a lot of times those are irrigated. Like when you go down the main boulevards in here, it's irrigated because it's a focal point as people are driving into the community. It's not unusual that when you have around ponds, near fences, walls, that it's usually Bahia and it's just unirrigated because it's not as visible. And when the communities are built, there's a cost factor to putting in irrigation through every aspect of where there's grass. So I think what I'm hearing probably, and I'll look to the whole board, is that we've entered the rainy season now. So if it doesn't come back in, we can obviously evaluate it. The board meets again in a month, and then we can consider what the options are, which sounds like it probably would be reseeding it because they, again, they don't typically sod for areas like that because it'll, even if it doesn't die off during the rainy season, it will die off during the, once we get into the winter. So it would be a replacement every year pretty much if you're talking about sodding. So that's probably, again, it's a board decision, but it sounds like that's really probably the first step to see if it does come back as we're entering into the rainy season. But again, your decision as a board. No, outside of, yeah.
The options are first, we'll go along since we're in the rainy season to see if that improves. So if you could send photos back in to Amy later in June, so to see if it changes. And then basically next month we can look at maybe going seeding first and seeing if the seeding improves it. I think a lot of the areas, especially like on Carter, if it's dirt and a large patch of dirt, a lot of times you will go with sodding because it will take too long for the seeding to take effect. So, in the situation there, I don't know what a landscaper would recommend as far as seeding versus sodding. But I think maybe trying the seeding option first to see if that improves it. And then if it does, then that basically, unless we can find a reason why there's a problem there, then the only other option would be to resod it.
Even seeding won't do no good if there's no water. It's a drought. It's dry here, that's what it is. Most likely because it will dry get the effect by change bars. That's usually because of the damage, but after rain it's gonna come back definitely.
If I may, do you have an opinion on this? Do you have any theory why it's just this section behind the house? And then the entire easement up and down the way is completely grass?
The soil could be bad quality as well, but I think what he said, if I put some seeding in there, because obviously if we go into the dirt, maybe it might help, especially when it's dealing with Bahia. And like you said, maybe 30 days, like you said, was good, see where it's at right here, and then like you said, just seed it.
It could.
Are you getting weeds? A lot of weeds growing in there? Alright, so at least the soil has something in it, because if it was just barren, then if weeds wouldn't grow. Because that is an issue with Bahia, is you get a lot of weeds in it too.
Like a lot of the weeds are coming down into the property.
When did you move into your house?
End of 23.
So, and you had grass there, you had grass there up until roughly last year then? Or was it?
I'm not saying it was a thick, lush lawn, but
it was better than what it is now.
I don't recall, to be honest with you. All I remember is that it was a distinct change, I guess, in the.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's
summer
gotten worse over time.
In the summer of 25.
Summer of 25.
Like a year ago now.
Because I know the last few years, we've almost been kind of reversed. We've kind of had wetter winters and drier summers, so I don't know if last year.
Yeah, so dry.
I don't remember if last year was dry, maybe that's the reason why it's more problem.
Same thing here. It was completely gone after the rain. It's coming back slowly. Just what it's a nature of Bahia, right?
Well, we can keep in touch over this next month, and you can send me additional pictures as well. And Lewis is on site; he can take a look also when he's out, and then we can queue it up again to kind of see what next steps make the most sense. So,
Okay, thanks.
yep. thank you. So we'll move into supervisor comments, and of course, if there's any supervisor comments regarding the resident request, you have that option as well. But we'll start and work our way down the table, so we'll start with Rabah.
Yeah, so I see some comments about like how we're spending so much. And you need to see what you're spending the money and what kind of things we are spending the money on. There is a difference between spending money to improve the community and spending money to satisfy a request to a certain individual right there. The other thing I'm going to ask moving forward, anyone that enters the meeting, please do what are the necessary actions to, move into the room or anything like that. That's it.
All right. Sir, anything? Okay. Martin, anything additional?
No.
All right. The next item was the shade session for security camera upgrades. However, I know we don't have two folks here, and I know the chair was heavily involved in some of the details of that potential project. So, suggest we table it if that's okay. Okay. That would take us to adjournment. If anybody's interested in making a motion. All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Meeting is adjourned.